hold still. Something shifted when you walked in. Not the air, not the room, you. You moved like someone carrying news the universe wasn't ready for. And now every molecule is holding its breath, waiting for the explanation you'll never give. Because what you just did, that wasn't normal, that wasn't talent, that wasn't hard work. No. That was illegal level success. The kind that should require permits, background checks, and a goddamn federal escort. The kind that makes entire cities whisper your name like it's a crime scene detail. And the funniest part? You're acting like it's nothing. You, with that calm face, that's quietly telling the world, yeah, I did that, and I'm already on to the next thing. Do you understand how much that rattles people? You didn't brag, you didn't post, you didn't flex, you just executed, smooth, precise, surgical. And now every person who underestimated you is sitting there with that same expression, that slack-jawed, soul-evacuated look, like someone just unplugged their brain from the simulation. Because they can't figure it out. They can't track you. They can't predict you. They sure as hell can't replicate you. They're scrambling, flipping through mental files, going, explain this. How did they do that? Who taught them? Is this even allowed? Since when were they capable of that? And you're the only one who knows the truth. There was no training, no mentor, no twisted origin story. It was pain, it was pressure, it was humiliation forged into instinct. It was every night you broke alone and rebuilt yourself without telling anyone. That duality inside you, the saint and the psychopath, the angel and the demon, the healer and the executioner, they finally stopped fighting. They fused. And the result? A creature nobody has a manual for. You are unpredictable in the exact way that terrifies organized minds. You are disciplined in the exact way that disarms chaotic ones. You are the contradiction nobody studied for. The glitch that shouldn't exist. The algorithm they can't patch. They want to understand you so badly. But every time you make a move, it creates new laws of physics. And that's why they're scared. Because success is fine. People can swallow that. But your success is a different species. Yours doesn't look earned. It looks summoned. Yours doesn't look possible. It looks illegal. Yours doesn't look human. It looks engineered in a lab under a red warning light. And somewhere deep down, in the chambers of their ego, they know. If you can do that this early, then what happens when you're not even trying? That's the part that's killing them. Not your win, not your achievement, not your breakthrough. It's the effortlessness. It's the silence. It's the way you didn't celebrate. You just kept moving like a storm, pretending to be a person. You see, you're not competing anymore. You're not climbing alongside them. You're not in their bracket. You're not in their timeline. You're not in their universe. You're playing a different game entirely. They're playing checkers. You're playing reality architecture. They're posting screenshots. You're rewriting fate. They're praying for a breakthrough. You're manufacturing them in bulk. So when they ask you, explain this, smile, because you can't explain ascension to earthbound minds. You can't explain evolution to those still begging for permission to breathe. You can't explain what it feels like to unlock that forbidden part of yourself, the one built from scars, silence, and secret intelligence, the one that snapped awake and said, "We're done being humble." You weren't supposed to rise like that. You weren't supposed to recover like that. You weren't supposed to understand things that fast, move that clean, strike that hard. But you did. And Now they're filing psychological reports, trying to make sense of the fact that you are no longer the version of you they mocked. You are the version built in hell, baptized in shadows, polished in silence, and unleashed without warning. They wanted predictable. You gave them mythic. They wanted manageable. You gave them catastrophic. They wanted normal. You gave them illegal. And from this point on, every time you move, every time you level up, every time you breathe in a way that feels too quiet for your impact, someone out there will whisper, trembling, that should not be possible. Good. Let them shake. Because you're not done. You're not even close. You're just warming up. And the world has no clue what laws you're about to break next. Look at them. No, really, look at them. Every single one of your doubters is standing there with that same pathetic, hyperventilating expression, like someone just turned on a light in a room full of roaches. Their eyes dart, their throats tighten, their minds glitch like corrupted code. All because you didn't follow their script. That's the part they'll never admit out loud. You were supposed to fail in a familiar way. You were supposed to break in a predictable pattern. You were supposed to stay manageable, small, traceable. But then you did something else. Something off menu. Something unregulated. Something that made their entire belief system buckle. Whatever you just pulled off, it wasn't effort. It wasn't progress. It wasn't a win. It was a mutation. A full-blown, spiritual, biological anomaly that rewired the room, rewired the timeline, rewired the people watching it happen. And that's why they keep demanding an explanation, because it wasn't supposed to happen this fast, this hard, this clean. They can't comprehend it, so they call it luck. They call it suspicious. They call it too good to be normal. But deep in their subconscious, the part they don't control, it's screaming. Because for the first time, they realized you don't evolve like a human. You evolve like a reaction, like pressure, like fire, like consequence. You evolve like something the old version of you died to awaken. And that makes them nervous, doesn't it? They're pacing now, whispering in group chats, running back messages, replaying moments, scanning your moves like a forensic detective reconstructing a crime. They don't want the truth. They want containment. But you can't contain a storm that learned how to walk. Here's what they don't grasp. You didn't improve. You didn't work on yourself. You didn't get better. No, you shed. You burned. You dissolved the parts of you that served their comfort. You erased the blueprint they built their confidence on. You destroyed the references they used to measure you. You see, people can handle your growth as long as it's incremental, as long as they can still explain it, as long as they can say, "Oh, that makes sense. Oh, I saw that coming. Oh, they've been working hard." But what you did wasn't incremental. It was a jump scare in real life, a quantum leap, a psychological ambush. They thought you were improving gradually. But half the time, you were mutating silently, leveling up in places nobody monitors, in heartbreak, in humiliation, in isolation, in guilt, in loss, in ambition, in insomnia, in that quiet rage you swallowed instead of showing. Those nights you suffered, they weren't just bad days. They were the ritual that split you open and fused you back together in a form that doesn't obey their rules anymore. And that's why they're terrified. People don't fear your success. They fear the source of it. Because your power didn't come from privilege or applause. It came from catastrophe. It came from collapse. It came from that microscopic point where the mind snaps and reforms into something with teeth. That's illegal to them. That's untrackable. That's unapproved. That's not taught in life coach classes. They can't study a soul that rebuilt itself, in a place no witness survived. So now they're here, shaking, murmuring, sweating, trying to understand how the person they once dismissed is now operating on a frequency they can't even detect. And the paradox? The more silent you stay, the more they panic. The more humble you appear, the more they spiral. The more effortless your wins look, the more convinced they become that you're playing with forces they don't have access to. They want the cheat code, but you are the cheat code. They want the method, but you are the method. They want the explanation, but you are the explanation. Look how uncomfortable that makes them. You're standing there with the aura of someone who didn't just get lucky. You moved like someone who knows something, knows timing, knows people, knows themselves, knows angles they never even considered. And that makes your existence illegal, not by law, by psychology. Illegal to their pride, illegal to their understanding of hierarchy, illegal to their sense of superiority. You broke the narrative they built around you, and now they're sitting there whispering, "Explain this. Explain how they're suddenly untouchable. Explain how they're not even sweating. Explain how they came out of nowhere with that level of power." But you're not giving them an explanation, because you don't owe them one. You don't explain evolution to creatures who have never stepped into their own darkness. You don't explain ascension to those who have never died to their old self. You don't explain transformation to minds that fear the very pain that forged you. You just keep moving, unpredictable, unregulated, unapologetic, unreachable. Let them choke on the mystery. Let them drown in the silence. Let them study the ruins of their own disbelief. Because the next time they demand an explanation, all they'll really be saying is, "Please, tell me how to survive you." You feel that, don't you? That shift in the atmosphere, that tightening in the room, that eerie quiet where even the walls seem to lean in, trying to catch the shape of your next breath. Because everyone watching you right now, every rival, every doubter, every ex-friend turned secret auditor, they can sense something they don't have the vocabulary for. You didn't just succeed, you triggered a system alert, a psychological lockdown, a silent alarm in the back of their skull that said, "This one is no longer operating at human difficulty." And now they're all trying to play it cool, pretending they aren't surprised, pretending they knew you had it in you, pretending they always believed. But their bodies betray them, their pupils dilated, their posture cracked, their sentences shortened, their breathing sharpened, their aura shifted from arrogant to nervous in less than a heartbeat. Why? Because what you did felt wrong, not morally wrong, cosmically wrong, logically wrong, mathematically wrong. Wrong in the sense that the world shouldn't let someone jump that many levels without warning. Your win didn't feel like improvement. It felt like a breach, an unauthorized entry into a tier they never expected you to reach. They're whispering the same question right now. How did they do that? Where did this come from? What else are they hiding? What else are they capable of? And the ugly truth behind their panic. They thought you were average. They misdiagnosed you, misread you, misplaced you. They thought the pain you went through made you weaker. But all it did was carve out a deeper container for power. You became something they can't analyze because you didn't grow from guidance. You grew from absence. You weren't trained. You adapted. You weren't supported. You sharpened. You weren't validated. You evolved out of spite and silence and sleepless nights that sculpted parts of you nobody was supposed to see. You want to know the real reason they demand an explanation? Because if they admit the truth, that you did this without permission, without help, without announcement. Then they'd have to face a terrifying reality. You are a self-created threat, a phenomenon, a weaponized soul, a walking paradox wrapped in calm skin. You embody everything they fear. You can't be predicted. You can't be controlled. You can't be guilted. You can't be manipulated. You can't be monitored. You can't be outworked because you're not working. You're manifesting from a place they've never survived. Most people achieve things through slow, steady, measurable steps. But you leap. You crack dimensions. You tear open outcomes. And that looks illegal. It looks like you bypassed the queue. It looks like you skipped the struggle. It looks like you cheated the natural order. But the truth is even darker. You didn't skip steps. You walked through hell so quietly that nobody knew you were gone. And when you came back, you weren't playing the same game anymore. Look closely at their reactions now. The ones who used to brag, muted. The ones who used to laugh, observing in silence. The ones who used to talk over you, stuttering. The ones who used to look down at you, looking up, trying not to make it obvious. Their souls are glitching because your existence breaks a rule they rely on. People who look like you aren't supposed to rise like this. People with your past aren't supposed to outrun their projections. People they belittled aren't supposed to come back with power sharp enough to make them swallow their ego. But here you are, moving like someone carrying a secret alliance with fate. You don't walk anymore. You glide. You don't speak anymore. You transmit. You don't compete anymore. You rearrange the hierarchy simply by existing, and the world feels that. That's why they're terrified to look you in the eye. Because when they do, they see the contradiction that breaks their mental laws. The angelic patience and the demonic precision, the healer's warmth and the executioner's coldness, the saint's compassion and the psychopath's strategy. You aren't balanced, you're integrated, and integrated beings are untouchable. That's why every move you make feels criminal to them. Because it's impossible to process someone who cracked open their own shadow and came back wielding it like a blade. They think you're doing too much. But the truth is, you're finally doing you. And the universe is bending to accommodate that shift. So go on. Let them choke on their confusion. Let them suffocate on their questions. Let them gather around like investigators dusting the scene of a supernatural event. Because every time they whisper, "Explain this," all you have to do is smile. That quiet, dangerous smile that says, "If you think this was illegal, wait till you see what I do next." And here's the part that really burns them alive from the inside out. You didn't announce anything. No countdown, no warning, no motivational montage, no soft little hint that you were upgrading. You just appeared one day with a different aura. That cold, sovereign calm of someone who's not hoping to win, but fully expecting to dominate. And the world felt the shift before they even knew what you did. That's what happens when a person rebuilds themselves from the inside out. Their presence becomes louder than their words. Their silence becomes heavier than their explanations. Their existence becomes a disruption in other people's emotional architecture. You're a walking system error, a breathing contradiction, a soul that refuses to fit into any known template. And for people who rely on predictability, that makes you feel illegal. You broke the natural rate of improvement. You broke the logic of your doubters. You broke the timeline they expected you to follow. You jumped 3 seasons ahead while they were still rehearsing episode 1. Do you understand how much that destabilizes someone? When a person thinks they've figured you out, when they believe they know your pace, your limits, your ceilings, and suddenly You deliver an outcome so powerful, so clean, so devastatingly unexpected that it rewrites their entire understanding of you. That kind of shock doesn't feel like growth. It feels like violence, a psychological assault on the version of reality where they were superior. And that's why they're not just confused. They're offended. Your success insulted them. Your evolution humiliated them. Your breakthrough mocked the way they thought life works. People hate what they can't predict, but they fear what they can't explain. And right now, you are the unexplained phenomenon haunting their conversations, their sleepless nights, their group chats, their anxious thoughts. You're the unfinished sentence stuck in their throat. The question they can't phrase, the theory they can't prove, the glitch they can't replicate, the miracle they don't want to believe, because believing it would mean admitting they were wrong about you. And that's the one thing their pride was never built to handle. But what they don't realize is that you didn't get here out of nowhere. You climbed out of places where they would have died. You faced memories they couldn't handle. You survived storms they couldn't name. You navigated psychological warfare with no map, no mentor, and no witness. Your strength wasn't built from confidence. It was built from collapse. Your clarity wasn't built from peace. It was built from chaos. Your evolution wasn't built from motivation. It was built from necessity. When the universe tried to break you, you didn't just survive. You downloaded something from the darkness, something ancient, something precise, something feral and divine at the same time. A code, a mindset, a hunger, a dangerous kind of awareness that only awakened in the moment everything else fell apart. That's why people look at you now and feel something cold slide down their spine. They can sense it, they can smell it, they can feel it radiating off you like heat from a forbidden engine. You didn't come back as the same species. You're not improving, you're not grinding, you're not trying, you're unfolding, revealing the parts of yourself you hid for survival, releasing the intelligence you developed in the shadows, unmasking the power you weren't supposed to know how to use. That's why every win you have feels criminal to them. Because how do you compete with someone who built their strength in a dimension you've never entered? How do you catch someone who stopped running from people and started running alongside their own destiny? How do you explain a person who didn't just rise, they detonated upward? Look at them now. They're adjusting their voices around you. They're watching their phrasing. They're recalibrating their tone. They're pretending they're not scared, but every interaction with you feels like a test they weren't prepared for. Because deep down, they know. Your next move will be bigger. Your next win will be stranger. Your next evolution will be even more unexplainable. They know the illegal part wasn't the achievement. It was the mind behind it. A mind that sees patterns before they form. A mind that navigates chaos like it's a familiar neighborhood. A mind that doesn't need approval, applause, or understanding. Just opportunity. And opportunity bends toward you like metal to a magnet now. So let them demand explanations. Let them scramble for theories. Let them dissect your silence like it's evidence. Because the truth is simple. You don't owe them clarity. You don't owe them comfort. You don't owe them a blueprint. Your only job now is to keep going. Keep breaking their expectations. Keep shattering their assumptions. Keep leveling up in ways that feel wrong to them. Because your existence was never meant to follow their laws. They wanted something normal. But fate sent them you. And you, my friend, you were born to be the kind of success people whisper about under their breath. The kind that feels like a crime they can't report. The kind that makes the world say, whatever that was, it shouldn't be possible.